Screen flickers tales of crime and affection. Baristas mix caffeine with tales of deception. Lawyers joke and shadows plot their redemption. Case files like popcorn scatter on the floor. Jury's out in line, folks begging for more. Quirky loopholes twist through every door. Paparazzi flash for the courtroom on core. Legal shenanigans theater, baby, where justice lasts. Crime and humor takes baby a curious path. Grab your ticket, honey, let the gavel smash. In the flood of laughter, see the road splash. Scoundrels with a smile.
Welcome everyone to the Force is not with you, Sarah. The Force is not with you.
It is not.
She was doing so well with her acolyte training. We all thought we had great hope. You were to bring balance to the Force.
Yes, wasn't there one of those movies called The Something Hope? A New Hope.
A New Hope, yes.
Yes. Well, that went out the window.
I will say that I love the state's rebuttal, but the tie, and I know that his good luck tie from his kids, so I try not, but that print being outside of a mental ward, I do not know. I do not know. I do not understand. It is so bright and comical. It's kind of like, do what now?
Yeah. Well, in this part, I had told you before that I had not watched Closing Arguments. I have intentionally stayed away from this because I heard you talk about it in such high regard that I've been waiting to hear.
Yeah, you could skip all of Owen's closing. It did him about that well. Oh my gosh, that was a train wreck into like a nuclear dumpster fire.
Yeah. I'm very interested for this part, though.
I do wonder, like, how, if Sarah is going to say anything at sentencing, like, first, I was lying because I was terrified, but I have had ineffectiveness of counsel for, like, since day one.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it's probably coming if we're being honest here, but,
Yeah, probably. But let's get started because we might actually stay on track. I love how he just throws the damn suitcase.
Yeah.
Now,
ladies and gentlemen,
this tie, tell me it does not remind you of a pre-calculus front cover of a book where you're supposed to be learning about how circles and stuff go with math.
Yeah, I mean, you could go that route. If it had a little green to it, we could be in Jamaica, Mon. I mean, we're getting that kind of vibe from it.
And let's see, Northwest, the male voice is Vielhammer. I do not have one of those cool little voice changery talk boys that I know you can do through the computer. It is not me with a bunch of sock puppets just doing different voices.
Are you sure?
Well, I mean, I haven't figured out how to do googly eyes yet, but once they come in.
Yeah. Now, if you can just get to a place where if I could figure out how to make it so I could broadcast the conversations in my head, now we'd be talking.
I'd be so canceled. I'd be so canceled.
Yeah.
But welcome everyone. This is Legal Shenanigans Theater, kind of like Mystery Science Theater and court stuff. And we will be watching Star Wars, The Final Frontier, Adjudication. I know I mixed up Trek in there. I know. I'm only part Ferengi though, so I should be okay.
Furry. What?
Ferengi, from Deep Space Nine. I'm a connoisseur of all the things that make you undateable.
Got it. I was gonna say I don't understand what you're talking about.
Obi-Wan Krennic. Let's see. But who would Owens be? Owens would remind me of CP3O or C3PO because he's kind of uptight, anal retentive, and not great at all the things that he does. So he's kind of like, Master Sarah, I kind of was wanting you to look at this plea deal. And Sarah's like, shut up. I need to go find my father. And
Yeah. Old C3PO.
old CP3O. Jar Jar Owens. Actually, that makes a lot more sense.
Wouldn't Jar Jar be more like Sarah though?
Ugh. So I never watched Rise of the Skywalker, mostly because how dare she wear or take their names?
Mm-hmm.
But she could be Rey Palpatine, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see it.
She powered up to an insane level with the force of the suitcase, no training whatsoever. Oh, good lord. Too much fun with this. Too much fun with this.
George Torres is dead because the defendant believed he deserved to be zipped shut in a suitcase so that she could make him feel how she felt when he cheated on her, when he choked her, and to hold him there as a captive audience, according to her testimony. Now he has to listen to me. Well, right out of the gate, there are credibility issues.
You don't say.
Well,
You know, Vielhammer, when you're always in, having a little squabble with the significant other, like which one of us is going to get in the suitcase now? It's the new listening stick or talking stick. Like, I have the talking stick. I have the power now. You have to listen.
so who gets to talk? Like who's in the suitcase or who's outside?
I guess it would be whichever house rules you're playing by, but you should probably establish that before getting in the suitcase.
Yeah. Need to assert some dominance.
Yeah, just to make sure we're not playing like a Vegas rules, are we? Or Sarah Boone rules. I need to know that this is going to be an honest, suitcasing.
Yeah. Suitcasing. Jesus.
Well, I was going to call it a drive-by suitcasing, but
Wouldn't it be a
Cheating to me means viewing pornography.
As opposed to what other, like squirrel porno? Tentacles are fine. Repeat, tentacles are fine.
I was not expecting that. Okay.
I may have. So I took my daughter to go do her first voting time, and unfortunately, we waited for an hour, and my leg. I don't know if we decided to pick the draftiest building in the county, but this is where we went. And I was listening to the various conversations around me, thinking, forget IDs. Let's have intelligence testing before people vote.
I mean,
So, yeah,
yeah.
it was not the best time. So I may have an emotional support Sarah approved beverage in my hand. So the filter's going to be even less than it normally is.
Is it at least 1.5 liters?
No, but I do have the mega pint still mostly full. I don't know how she dealt with that. I understand I am a lightweight and I generally, cut all of my booze with Diet Sprite. But that's like daggone. I was I was out.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, maybe this drinking thing is good because I'm actually sleeping through the night. That's how Sarah started, though, I bet. She was like, I just need to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, to go back to my original statement, human pornography. Sir, I'm going to go out here on a limb. You're already talking about Star Wars. I'm sure you have a massive 40K army miniature set. Maybe perhaps don't clue the world into the fact that you know about anime.
Tentacles.
Well, we saw cheating really means women. And the heated conversation on June 14th about these women in Facebook.
Judge Kranick back there just working his collar, like, don't talk about the non-human corn. Not that.
He's like, wait. He's like, I have something in common with Sarah.
The judge is like, shit, must delete work history or phone history before I go home. honey, it was for this trial. I had to do some research. I swear to you.
Yeah. And now that he has come to the realization he has something in common with Sarah, now he's walking around going unintentional.
Probably.
And that is what leads to the arrest on June 15th. He's out whoring, Candy Crush, all the bizarre things that you see in her phone. He uses the legal system as a weapon at times. There's no denying that they are engaging in violent behavior, and it is over nonsense. It is smashing TVs. They call the police, and then they're standing there looking bewildered about what to do and who to say, and laughing and joking.
Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, the courtroom is the place for justice, not a suitcase.
I just keep looking deeply into the bulbous yellow eyes of those bird or nerd shaped animals on his tie.
I see the one at the top now, and it's like, is that from Among Us or is that like a snake?
I don't know, but it's oddly it's a Rorschach test. That's how you know if you know what. I'm just gonna run this joke into the ground. What human pornography is, then you see a bird with yellow eyes. But if you know what other stuff is, I'm sure you see different things.
Yeah. Oh Lord, you could go so many different directions with that.
Yep. And the tentacles have eyes.
Oh, the tentacles have eyes. Jesus, you just created a new anime corn horror genre.
Vale, I came up with a way to revolutionize the solicited D pics for women. Going this morning on Baker's show, going on my theory of general hilarity that anything, if you add googly eyes to it, can be funny. So, if you had a D of the day with googly eyes and, one was like the village people or, Lord of the Rings, or you could have anything. I'm just saying. I may have already funded a Kickstarter.
No. It's got like a 365 calendar.
Yeah, just, on your desk, like one's Darth Vader. One's an Ewok.
So the question though is, Mo, do they
Yes.
get 2 googly eyes or just 1?
2.
Okay. Just asking.
I mean, unless you're, it's a snake or something, but still, two googly eyes.
Suitcase. The reason we have a jury system originally started with the idea that the king, the crown in England, shouldn't be able to go and incarcerate citizens on his whim. So it developed into a system where citizens would have to say, yes, you can take our fellow citizen. But the opposite is also true. A citizen cannot take another citizen's life because he or she feels like it. That likewise requires a jury to decide that it was objectively reasonable for a person of ordinary prudence and caution. Like Mr. Cacciatore argued earlier, battered spouse syndrome is not a license to kill. Past grievances, even being stabbed in the leg, so on and so forth, do not give her the license to kill. There are still laws in place about when and how this can be done in a justifiable manner.
Oh my God, give me that job. I have your petty grievances. I am your petty grievance judge. I will sentence you to dueling with like those javelin, those not styrofoam, but those foam javelins that they used to do.
Sticks.
Yeah. Yeah. From okay, basically it would just be a reboot of American Gladiator, but we would get people involved in civics by making them grudge matches, and I would get to decide on things. ABC, call me. I have a multi-billion-dollar idea.
Yeah, but his thing about it doesn't give them a license to ill.
Yeah.
But does it give them a license to thrill?
Well, that's what she said, that she thought George was just going to haul ass out of the suitcase and they were going to have relations.
Yeah. Again, X'd it out.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Not sure that anyone would ever be that motivated or sad or brave. Ugh.
Yeah.
This is Vielhammer Media. So if you guys liked the Jodi Arias trial that MLS and Nicholas Starro did, and the O.J. Simpson trial that Legal Vices did, it's Vielhammer. He does all of the magic to make the courthouses understandable. And I am going to ask him if he can possibly clean up the Courtney Clenny Knifethrower hearing.
Oh.
Bill, you have to see this man.
No.
He has the body style of Fat Bastard from Austin Powers.
Okay.
And no enthusiasm, but he definitely, I have never seen a man more bored to throw knives at a carcass.
Okay.
Because I would be ecstatic, like, get my gimpy behind up there. Like, I won't be good at it, but I would definitely have fun with this.
So this is for a demonstration for the court, is to make sure that it's possible.
Yeah, I guess they got a professional knife thrower.
So, I mean, I would object on grounds that it's not findable on YouTube anymore, but there is a video that used to be up of Miss Clenny at a photo shoot of hers with a knife stuck into a tree.
Oh.
By where she was posing. So I think that you might already have an expert on your hands.
Well, we would probably make a better video with her. Not to sound like her dad and manager, but
yeah,
we'd probably, how dare I get in between him and the world seeing his daughter's bits, but
I mean, that's a whole other
yeah,
issue.
can we like, I don't even tell my parents what I do on my stream because I know it is just in no way their jam. I just know they'd be like, "Oh my god, did you really have to use the C word so much?" You know,
Yes,
or
in fact.
"That was not at all funny. That is not funny." You know? And I was
Yeah.
like, "Add googly eyes, then look at it. See if it's funny now, mom."
Yeah. I'll have to look this up because I didn't realize that they were still doing. I thought we were still waiting on the Clinty stuff. I didn't realize they were doing like motions or
Well, I guess
hearings or
I
anything.
hadn't heard about it until someone was like, "Did you see the Knifethrower?" And I've only seen a still of the Knifethrower, but you would think you'd have to be in a little shape to throw a knife. I mean,
Maybe he's instead of being paid, maybe he's getting some quote unquote products and services in return.
that it takes determination because I have some physics questions. Terrible person, but I need you to explain to me how this is all going to work.
I'm gonna have to look this up now.
I want to talk about the most important jury instruction in this case that has not been discussed very well or thoroughly. Excuse me. However, the use of deadly force is not justified if you find that Sarah Boone used force to initially provoke the threatened use of force against herself. And we'll stop at that comment. The facts of the case that came from her own mouth, if she is to be believed, and we will explore thoroughly why you should disregard every bit of her testimony, from court to the detectives, to the 911 operator, to the doctors. Her testimony, if it is to be believed, the most favorable light that she has presented of herself, is that at the end of a Sunday Funday, where we are drinking, we're outside by the dark.
I just love that he's like,
Sunday
"It was Sunday Funday." He brought this out, and he's much drier and kind of more automaton in his delivery, but it
Yeah.
doesn't make it any less funny when he's like, "Yeah, it was Sunday Funday, you know, as we all do. We drink, 5 bottles of wine,
Yeah.
attempt to do a tell me these two booze hounds finished a 1,000-piece puzzle."
While drinking what, like 3 liters of
Yes.
wine.
Yes, yes. Sarah's like,
And
"We got all of it done except we couldn't find this one last piece." I'm
yeah.
like, "Sarah."
And their combined weight of 240 pounds, most of which was hers, not his.
Pretty much. Although I still say we were cheated. The state should have showed us, the puzzle and the artwork.
Yeah. The only art that we saw was the heart on the wall that to the stairs in the video where we saw feet.
I'm still surprised Sarah didn't make one of those handprint turkeys.
Well, I'm
just
yeah,
saying that strikes me as her level of arts and crafts.
that's her jam. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the teacher from Billy Madison.
She is Miss Lippy.
Yes, Miss Lippy.
Dartboard, we're doing puzzles, we're doing arts and crafts, and there finally comes a point in time where we're going to play hide and seek. And he says, "Tag, you're it." Even though she's it, she goes upstairs, hides in the shower, eventually gets tired of being there, it's cold, so on and so forth, and she comes back downstairs. And as she comes back downstairs, she can see Mr. Torres fiddling to place himself inside the suitcase to try and hide for this game. And the lid is not closed, and it's flapping. And out of jest, out of levity, undisputed according to her testimony, she comes over there and zips it shut. Whether it's 100% or enough for 2 fingers to get out, that is something something that you decide as the jury. But there came a point in time where the fun and games was over. And Mr. Torres told her that. Babe, I can't breathe. Sarah, babe,
I love how the two, sidekicks from The Outsiders
Mhm.
are behind him.
Yeah, the greasers.
Yeah, the greasers.
That was the term in the book, folks.
Yes. Soda Pop and
Sunny and Soda Pop and yeah.
yeah. And Ralph Macchio.
Yes. That was pre-Karate Kid, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that was
I don't
pre-Karate
know,
Kid.
but it did have Tom Cruise pre-Scientology too,
And Emilio Estevez.
when he was the only Estevez.
Pony Boy. There you go. That was the one that we're missing. Pony
Okay,
Boy.
good. Yeah, and didn't it have Patrick Swayze in it too?
Oh yeah, it had like the whole cast of like all that whole generation of the 80s that went to be megastars. Is the whole
I
cast.
know. Imagine my shock when it turned out to be nothing like Dirty Dancing. I thought that this was the sequel to it before I had to read it in high school,
Yeah.
against my will. And I was like, where's baby? He went home and never found a chick? Like,
Yeah.
who the hell's not taking Johnny up on, dancing lessons? And my mom was like, this is not the same movie. I was like, could have fooled me. He's wearing the exact damn same thing.
Yeah. But it's like it's because of the cast and everything. It's like it's kind of like the 80s generation Breakfast Club.
Yes.
let me out. This is all on video. We don't have to imagine this. This is all on video, 1062. At that point in time, she is using force against him that is not justified. She is the initial provocateur. She is the aggressor under the law. And what level of force is it? I can't breathe. Not let go of my hand, not get your hands off me. I can't breathe. This is no different than two people, maybe they're buddies at the bar, similar to an example that was given by Mr. Owen, who are wrestling, and one has another one in a headlock. And there comes a point in time where the person on the receiving end of the headlock says, that's enough, I'm tapping. George Torres was tapping, and she ignored it. And she was kind enough to tell you why. Out of anger, which translates to hatred, ill will.
I feel like we're going to get a Yoda. I sense in him much fear. I sense in her much fear. Dearly.
But he wasn't tapping the right thing.
Where was he? Where are you supposed to tap?
That ass.
Well, I would think at a bar, if you tap a guy's ass to get out of a rear naked chokehold, either you're in a really bar that really accepts all that, or you might be getting, into another chokehold.
Of a different flavor.
Yeah.
Literally.
Probably. Yeah. But I'll remember that. I think I can get away with it maybe more than you can, Vielhammer, but we are going to need to do studies. So you have your assignment. Local YouTuber arrested for harassment of a sexual kind in a bar claims he was doing a experiment.
It's for science.
It was for Mo told me to. It was for science.
Unintentional.
No maliciousness.
Will, spite, just like that in jury instruction for second-degree murder. She told you exactly why. She got angry. Him saying, I can't breathe, babe, was what triggered her. Not a fear of imminent harm, Those are her own words. That is the
Can't
law.
breathe, babe.
These
Don't
are the
ever
2
do
paragraphs
that.
that's
Well, yeah,
I
him
can't breathe,
saying,
babe.
yeah, and that's the part where, again, had she said this was an accident and maybe remembered to, I don't know, delete her videos, she
Yeah.
probably could have gotten away with manslaughter. I mean, because, but who? Owens had to be back there just crying, like, Sarah, I'll bring you a Pop-Tart. Just take the plea deal. Just take the plea deal. And she's like, no, I have a winning case. I'm like Joan of Arc.
Yeah, well, that worked out.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
She probably is like,
solve
can I
this
actually
equation.
get that after all, by the way?
Probably. Well, no, she got murder too. So
Yeah.
she was given a plea deal of manslaughter, and she was like, no, I am
Yeah.
innocent, and everyone will see my truth.
Yeah, she's probably writing letters to the DA though, like, hey, can I get up in that offer now?
I know we kind of had like this sort of, pretend trial. No, Sarah, that was a real trial. Yeah, but I didn't officiate it, so really, I mean,
Yeah. It's
ugh.
it's coming.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt that there are going to be a flurry of letters, and she is going to take about 27 hours for her, statement during sentencing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she is a moron. And
Yes.
unfortunately for her, I think she's going to run her big mouth in Gen Pop, and things are going to end not so greatly for her.
Probably. I would imagine that is probably exactly how that is going to go.
Yeah, I've heard that ladies who may be more on the criminally minded predatory side don't like being told, they're not good enough for Sarah. I can only imagine. Like, I don't wish ill on people, but this chick, I don't make me have to light a candle for Sarah Boone's safety during her transition into Gen Pop, because I don't know if she's gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah.
equation without getting up on a big whiteboard in college that's 30 feet long, 15 feet high, and a ladder, and somebody's scribbling Latin words and Greek letters for months and months to solve this huge, complicated equation. The equation is solved in 2 paragraphs. She is the initial aggressor. He is saying, I can't breathe. It is no different than a naked chokehold that she does not let go of. And she told you it's because I want him to listen to me. This is my
Naked
bully
chokehold,
pulpit.
Yeah, maybe don't admit that you did a bunch of crimes before the crime of self-defense.
Yeah. Attorneys, prosecutors, you should learn what it is that you're saying before you should say it, because it's not a naked chokehold. It is called a rear naked chokehold.
Oh,
It is not a naked
well, I mean,
chokehold.
that explains why I was, taken out of, the UFW, but I would have thought that, adding the rear to it would have made it taboo.
It's what makes it effective.
All I'm thinking about is that South Park where the boys made the wrestling league. And then they had the coach that's like, that's not wrestling, this is wrestling. And they're all in the little singlets, and they're like, what the hell is this? What are we doing here?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the naked chokehold.
Well, he's more into Star Wars than he is into,
Sports, clearly.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't know there was a difference. I figured one was with friends and one was with someone special. So,
With
Like the
Suitcase
rear
friends.
chokehold would be like with your, dude friends, but the rear naked chokehold would be like with your old lady. But,
Oh dear.
but this is why I'm not allowed to go to sporting events.
This is how he made me feel in the past. She doesn't describe it as teaching him a lesson, but that's exactly what she says. I want him to feel like I felt in the past. I want to tell him things. Ladies and gentlemen, we can play semantical games, but that is teaching him a lesson. Therefore, we have to look at the other two paragraphs. Because right now, plain as day, the use of deadly force is not justified if you find that Sarah Boone used force to initially provoke the threat and use of force against herself. And what force are we talking about? Well, the threat of force that she tells you she was facing was him fighting for survival. Him sticking his fingers out of the suitcase. Him sticking his hand out. That is the threat of force, coupled with, I'm going to end you.
Okay. Owen's heard this story. Owen's heard Sarah, so let me tell me again, Sarah. Probably like while taking out his glasses and doing that pinch you do right between your eyes on your nose bridge. And he is probably like, okay, so you put him in the suitcase, you zipped it up. And then when he tried to get out, that was when you were like, I was afeared for my life. Sarah, this doesn't make sense. But no, Owens was like, Sarah, he was Jim Carrey on Liar Liar with what's her face, the terrible mom who was like, I am fighting for justice because he sold all that crap to her.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh shit, you're terrible. I can't tell lies.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand he had a job to do, but I think that there's a way that you can go about doing your job and being effective without completely reshaping everything.
Yeah, well, he should have known that the battered spouse syndrome was not going to come off as anything sort of genuine. He should have realized that they should have gone back to the original thing. But once Sarah heard that, I am a victim, I am a victim.
Yeah.
And he was like, shit, shouldn't have said that to her.
Yeah. Because then he had to go full bore down that tube.
Yeah, and it's not a story that anyone's going to get. I mean, first of all, that's not how you play hide and seek, as my youngest, most feral will tell you, because he's like, oh my God, are you still listening to the chick who's really bad at hide and seek? Whenever I'd have to pick him up from the line and I'd be listening to the stream going so I could hop back on with Baker. And he's like, she is dumb. That's not how you play hide and go seek. Like, I thought when you got old, you weren't dumb.
Well, son, you have learned a very valuable lesson at a very young age.
Yes, you are, in fact, just because people get older, sometimes they do not get smarter. I don't think she would be able to stop herself, which is kind of the sort of train wreck atmosphere that you take off of this, is that, it's like seeing a really bad wreck, knowing, unfortunately, that someone has passed, but you cannot look away from it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for the 2 pounds. Your humor cheers me up to no end. Well, thank you. I just say what I think, and not so eloquently sometimes, but it's fun. And you kind of have to do that with this case, because otherwise, I will say this has to be one of the hardest not kid related trials that I've watched in a while.
Yeah. It has some very rough moments in some of the evidence that was introduced.
So I do I mean, he is not the most flashy, state prosecutor. He doesn't have, the sort of storytelling, but he really is getting, well, okay, his tie is super flashy.
Did you call him a prostate prosecutor? I think you did unintentionally.
It was unintentional. I meant prosecutor, state prosecutor, and then I was gonna say state's attorney. So yeah, turned into prostate, which,
Yeah, I
sure
mean,
could be useful.
the prostate prosecutor.
But what I meant to say is he's not the most, theatrical. He's not the most, kind of maybe not automaton sounding guy. But I would like that he breaks this down. None of the things that she says can be true in regards to this case because B. And
Yeah.
I like that he just breaks it down like that. Now he is supposed to be getting into Star Wars soon. I'm over here. I've like built this up, and it's gonna be like the end where it's like that was all. No. Oh look, it was funner in the moment. Ugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is the initial provocateur. She is the one using deadly force against him. If I have somebody in a rear naked chokehold, they are entitled to use deadly force against me to break that chokehold, at least until we're separated. He had every right to say what he said. He had every right to exist and stick his hand out and try and survive to breathe another day. However, the use of force is not justified if you find that Sarah Boone used the force to initially provoke the threatened use of force against herself, unless she does one of two things. And she did neither. Not even close. The threat of force asserted towards the defendant was so great that she reasonably believed that she was in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm. All right, let's give her absolutely every benefit of the doubt, which you should. This is a criminal prosecution. The state of Florida has alleged she committed murder. You need to do everything you can to look for reasonable doubt.
Sarah is over here preening at this point, like, yes, you should take everything in my favor. And she's just dumb enough but vain enough to be like, yes, I really am the victim. And she doesn't realize this is a two-part sentence.
Yeah, that's very bold of him to say, though. I haven't heard many other prosecutors say, if any, actually, say that yes,
No.
you should look for every hole and every reasonable doubt.
Well, I
That's
guess he
bold.
figured, like George, they wouldn't be finding one.
Yeah. Very, very true. Very true.
But a reasonable doubt is not an imaginary doubt, forced doubt, speculative doubt. So accepting that all of their past history, accepting the doctor's testimony and the limitations on what they reviewed compared to what we reviewed. We did a much more thorough review of the relationship than any of the doctors did in this case.
That's why I have
So
this
let's
twitch.
give her that first clause. Because of their past relationship, with George now fighting for his right to exist and saying that he will end her if he gets out, we'll give her that. But just like Mr. Cacciatore mentioned earlier, lawyers' words mean things to us, and they mean things to everybody, but really to us. Or an and. There's an and. Had exhausted every reasonable means to escape the danger other than using deadly force on George Torres.
Damn, Sarah Brotlow by conjunction junction. What's your function? She's like, if only it had been a, or, and not an and. Could have gotten away with it.
I mean, do we think that she actually watched Schoolhouse Rock?
Probably while huffing, model paint glue.
while making those handprint turkeys.
Probably. Look, she was in the arts and crafts for a long time. She just didn't, choose to tell anyone that it was, modeling paint supplies because of the fumes.
Yeah.
She's like, I distill my own booze. Like, no, Sarah, that's just mouthwash, but okay.
Same diff.
Same diff. And I smell minty fresh.
Dual purpose.
Pretty much.
She did not use every reasonable means to escape the danger that now, after provoking him, that he was presenting to her, according to her. She didn't pick up her cell phone and start walking, call 911. She didn't do anything other than, if you believe that is why she called Brian Boone, made a phone call to Brian Boone, and unfortunately, because of past history, he just ignored her drunken phone call. She did not exhaust every reasonable means to escape this danger that she created. She started it. She created this. Other than using the deadly force on George Torres. Now,
Eddie Izzard.
This is a weird situation.
And I didn't know that their new name was
This is not
Susie.
a rear naked chokehold.
Okay, sir, I understand that you watched one, like making a WWE star, but stop using the rear naked chokehold. I'm not mature enough to deal with this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I understand because of the whole reference to this is what it feels like when you choke me and all that, but
but
it's like, you
just not mature enough as a species to handle this.
Yeah, it is kind of a funny name for a chokehold.
Well, I mean, it could be like the good night, 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 big sad or something. So I guess,
True.
It does sound primal, but still naked. And rear in the same sentence, just like, you lost me. You lost me at rear naked, and I was just giggling. So after this,
Which is odd, actually, because it's neither. Well, it is from the rear, but it's. I mean, I guess it could be naked, but that
again, which
raises
is
a lot
why
of
I thought you did a
questions.
rear chokehold with like your buddies and a rear naked chokehold with your old lady.
Yeah, no, that's not quite how that works. But it does
Oh my
raise a lot of
gosh.
questions now. Who named this thing?
Yeah. Also,
mean,
Olympics. I am here if you need me to commentate on wrestling. It'll be just me giggling, but it'll work.
It's like he went in for an oil check.
And they'll just be like, pretty much. We like throw some baby oil down there. Let's see what happens when things get slickery. Ma'am, this is the Olympics. We don't do anything like that. This was started in Greece. I know that they used to do this absolutely nude. I was promised a rear naked chokehold, and one of you 5 men better
Better deliver.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Mr. Mo walks in and walks right back out. Like, I don't know what I walked
He's
in on,
like, oh Jesus.
but I'm out.
It's one of those moments.
This is a suitcase, or as Mr. Cacciatore said, a box, or actually more aptly described it as a coffin. And when you secure somebody into a box or a coffin, you can still exert that deadly force on them from a distance. I'll give you a quick example from a couple of movies that I love. In 1977 in May, a movie came out, it's called Star Wars. They eventually called it Episode 4. In the first scene, there is this large, imposing figure that wears black armor. He is a government agent, and he is looking for some stolen classified documents. He picks
I love how he's explaining Star Wars like it's this small esoteric art film that no one has
Yeah.
ever seen.
And yeah, that is rather interesting the way that he's going about this. I mean, I guess if you haven't seen it, like I haven't seen Star Wars since I can't even tell you when. um so it's like, yeah, refresh my memory.
And I like how he turns Darth Vader into like the world's most pissed off IRS agent. Universe is like, God damn it, gotta find the TPS report before the Emperor has my balls. Even though I don't have any anymore. Thanks, government.
Yeah.
You know. Just like, where is my TPS report?
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of see it actually.
Star Wars all about an IRS agent's, fight to get back his TPS report.
Yeah. I mean, that would be that. Oh God, could you imagine like Star Wars like filmed a la The Office?
Oh my God, that would be great. Because that every time there's a, Halloween costume party, Vader's always like, this is my costume. Vader, look, I know it recycles your own waste and you have to eat it, but could you at least get into the spirit?
Yeah.
Just force chokes in everyone. Now I have another idea, ABC. I mean, really, get with me. Disney, you can't do worse damage to Star Wars than I can do making an Office replacement of Star Wars.
But who would Vader would be more like Michael, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who would be
Picks
the
a
Kim
man up.
character?
I don't know. Maybe
It would have to be Luke, right? Because Luke and Leia eventually
Yeah.
get together and she'd be Pam.
Wait, no, Luke and Leia don't get together because they're siblings. They're twins. They do sort of get together in a way that's not too
mean-
unlike The Hills Have eyes.
You know what I'm saying.
That's how the Force is the true birth child of those weird people on Mars from, oh gosh, was it Total Recall?
Yes.
Like,
And this
look,
is how much I know about Star Wars.
no, we're just starting with the Force, and Vale revealed that he didn't know that Luke and Leia didn't get together. Mostly because they were related, which I think could have explained a lot more about Luke maybe being pissed off in the third movie.
But to be fair, in some parts of the world, that doesn't stop people.
Oh, great. Yeah. All right. So let's get back to Star Wars, the real Star Wars. As animated as he's got, he's now animated because he's force choking someone. I love this attorney.
Anna, who he believes is responsible for this treachery, and breaks his neck and chokes him to death when he doesn't tell him where the plans are. We all understand that. That is direct force we all understand. But what we need to understand is the force she's exerting from the couch. And then when she goes up to bed, she is still exerting that force on him. She set these implementations into motion and did not stop. So later in this movie that came out in 1977, another co-employee of this dark, imposing figure, Vader, insults his religion. He does not go to HR.
He did not say, that is a hate crime, and I'm going to tell Penny Problem Glasses down in HR.
I'm
Can you imagine Vader in sensitivities training? Okay. All right. Okay. Ewoks have a unique and beautiful culture, and we shouldn't call them demented dum-dum bears. I will never make fun of Life Day, even though it's obviously just Christmas and you wanted to make more money.
Yes. And why is that every planet looks like that one?
Well,
Except for
it was the
Dagobah.
80s, and we didn't have a lot of money. Like, look, George Lucas was not really a genius at the time. He was just a weird guy who wanted to make a space, opera. And we were confused about the whole thing. But then people started to like it, so we gave him some money. So he had more than like $14.50 to make no, A New Hope.
Oh. That was the hope.
It was. It was like, let's get another movie.
He takes matters into his own hands and chokes this person from a distance. Ironically, while we're talking about force, it's the force. And then in the subsequent movie, he's like doing it from his office. He's killing his incompetent employee.
He's pulling a tube in. He's like, I'm not even going to leave my desk for this.
He's like, this can be accomplished from here.
Which
don't
is
even
why
need to
I
turn the
will never
camera off.
get access to the Force, because if I could force choke people from a distance, you have no idea.
And every time he says from a distance, I hear Bette Midler.
He really is mixing his, 80s movies. He's like, I like beaches and I like, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Bite me. I'm in touch with all of my feelings. Oh my goodness. I love that he's just like, well, now he's just killing incompetent employees, like just left, right, center, everywhere.
Yeah. It's so I'm assuming he's painting Sarah as Darth Vader here, and that if they don't put her away, she's just gonna start unaliving random people or unintentionally.
Well, I mean, yes, given Sarah Boone's general personality, yes, if she got access to the midichlorian, she would, take us all out.
I don't know what that word is. I clearly need to catch up on pop culture from this 1970s.
This movie, this small esoteric art film that no one knows about.
Yeah. It's a cult classic, if you will.
Yes.
Employees on different ships. Force, deadly force, can be exerted from a distance in this situation. So whether she's on the couch or whether she turns in for bed, she is still using that deadly force on him. She has not exhausted every reasonable means to escape this danger. Do something. You started this. You put him in the position where he cannot breathe. She's required by law to do something about it. Not something, everything. There was no efforts in this case. None. Or, in good faith, Sarah Boone withdrew from physical contact with George Torres and clearly indicated to George Torres that she wanted to withdraw and stop the use of deadly force. But George, it just reads as Jorge. George Torres continued or resumed the threatened use of force. That did not happen. She never withdrew from physical contact. She is still, like Vader, choking him from the couch, choking him from bed. She never withdrew that force.
And if it didn't involve a suitcase, it could have been a fun night for all.
I mean, maybe the rear naked part.
My brain just firmly stayed in the gutter. It was just like, nah, we're not leaving here. We found our people.
This feels like a good place.
I am among my own around here.
Not wrong.
No, it's just it is he is making a good point. I think I giggle a little bit because again, the only time he's been animated is when he's talking about Star Wars. Add to that the freaking, sinister stare of that one single yellow eyeball from that I'm
Yeah.
still going with possible bird that just keeps staring at me through his tie. Just
Yeah.
it's all of the absurd and I love it.
I can't not see it now. Like it's the only thing that I see is the big yellow eyeball.
It follows you around the room.
Yeah. It's like I'd be distracted if I was a juror.
I would have been so done. I would have been glad that we were talking about Star Wars. So I would have been just fine. I've been like, thank God. Are you ready
And
for your free meal? I'm ready for my free meal. Then we can
yeah.
say guilty and we're done.
Yeah.
Because this was like a bajillion o'clock on a Friday. They were so done.
Yeah, and I had forgotten too that like when they in Florida, they go until they're done.
Yeah.
Because I forgot all about that from the popcorn movie theater guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember, yeah, he said like they were cleared to stay until 11 almost that night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of wild. I was like, wait, what?
I'd have been like, "No, we won't need that long, Your Honor."
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be back in 5.
Now the
Not at 5,
Schwartz.
5 minutes.
Now, if he had gone full Spaceballs with the whole thing, that would have been even better.
4.
1 second, I'm boosting your mic because you're always a bit lower.
Huh.
And I'm not that vain. I'll let you speak and stuff before I force choke you across the internet.
Just
Like, this
don't
is
let
my
me
show.
just don't let me speak and spell.
She never withdrew the force.
Force. Physical contact includes any restraint on George Flores' movements. She never indicated that she wanted to withdraw. Sarah, babe, I can't breathe. All right, if I let you out, are you going to come out peacefully? Since I started this, I'm the one that made you not be able to breathe. That didn't happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, this entire analysis about deadly force starts and ends there.
What is the guy behind him doing with his mouth? Because all I see is like a guy looking at you across a bar or at a pile of hot wings and being really, really excited. But let's see if we can.
Which one?
You guys. So
The
guy
fluffy hair or the crew cut marine guy?
the
Marine-looking
Marine
haircut?
guy, but
Okay.
he's like moving his mouth around like he's just seen a really appetizing pile of hot wings.
I'm gonna
So
have
it
to
is
pay attention.
here.
Entire analysis about deadly force
It's right
starts
there.
and ends there. She was the provocateur. These are her obligations when she starts it. She put him in fear of death. He is literally telling her, I cannot breathe. A couple other things about the law.
Probably.
Second-degree murder does not require a proof of intent to kill. Argument was made repeatedly that she didn't intend to kill him. That has never been the state's suggestion. Because why would we suggest we prove something that we don't have to? It's not her subjective belief. Well, Sarah Boone doesn't believe that this suitcase can kill him, even though he's repeatedly said, I can't breathe. It's a person of ordinary judgment who would know, is reasonably certain to kill or do serious bodily injury to another. A person of ordinary judgment who hears, I can't breathe, babe, Sarah, and his voice gets weaker 9 minutes later, you're on notice. This is statutory notice. Done from ill will, hatred, spite, or evil intent. Her words speak for herself. This was not out of fear. This was out of hatred and anger. Born out of all those horrible things that has been done to her and done to him, understand, we're not going to belabor the past, is of such neighbor that the act itself indicates a difference in human life. I don't care that you're saying you can't breathe. Fuck you. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Fuck you.
I mean, he does kind of capture the whole Sarah-ness of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, he's about spot on, actually.
Yeah, I do like that he doesn't have to, and that's the thing. I did really like with the state. They didn't go, thermonuclear on Sarah, which I would have loved. And I think, yeah, that's my ferals. We don't have inside voices whatsoever. No.
All he needed
But
was a
it,
little bit of a slur. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
youngest was feral, like, we're going to Walmart and you're giving me Takis. Damn it. Yeah, she is. But he doesn't have to be dramatic. He doesn't have to do all of the, flailing and ridiculousness that Owens did because he has a case.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be fair, I know I've been making fun of the Star Wars thing, but at least he's keeping it interesting to where people are probably going to be paying attention to what he's saying instead of just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, we've been sitting here for like the last 3 hours listening to these idiots talk. Like at least he's trying to stay engaging. I'll
Well,
give him
that
that.
he's also not taking a lot of time. I mean, he's moving through the points. He's not belaboring stuff. He's not being circular. He's kind of taking them through things and then giving them, okay, you're not lawyers. I understand that, but this is why we word things this way. This is why there's an and and an or. So pay attention, which I like too, because I'd have been like, I am done.
Yeah, like he's in Florida and that's where Disney is, so he's using a Star Wars reference. And like the dude in Wisconsin and the Henderson thing had to use a puzzle. I mean, you have to keep people's attention somehow.
Thank you so much, Jedi Jess, for $10. Her thought that it wouldn't kill 1000% pisses me off to no end. She knew CPS warned her that when she did it to Lucas, and if she somehow forgot, that she didn't give, yeah. So for people that don't know, Sarah Boone was, I guess, originally had put her son into a suitcase for funnies and then put it on the internet. And that sparked a CPS report because, exactly what she was warned about, positional asphyxia, getting, trapped in there. So she had absolute knowledge that this could have killed someone. Her claiming that she didn't have any knowledge that this could be bad. Now, they didn't bring it in because I think that might have opened the door to having Lucas come out and actually be on and they didn't need it, quite frankly. But her whole, recitation through this entire thing that she didn't know someone could get seriously hurt being in a suitcase is bunk because she's been warned.
See, I didn't know that little tidbit that she had put him into one.
Well, I hadn't wanted to say anything until I got confirmation that this was actually a thing because, sometimes the internet can say, oh, this totally did that. But yeah, they definitely did. I trust Jedi Jess. So I was like, oh, it really was true. Yeah, this heifer's a flippin' galaxy brain. She's like, well, I thought it was only for children. Oh, adults don't need to breathe too, Sarah?
I mean, my brain is a little slow because I'm tired. There's a joke in there somewhere. But I can't think of what it is about having no low oxygen brain being Sarah. It's in there somewhere and it's funny in my head, but I just can't think of it.
She does react like she never got the full development that the rest of us did.
Yeah.
It's second-degree murder. We do not have to prove the intent to kill. She intended the act. She intended the act of zipping him shut. She continued to intend that act when he said, "I can't breathe." That act resulted in his death. That's a manslaughter, but then when you add in the hatred, ill will, spite, and the depraved mind, that's what makes it second-degree murder. And that 2-minute video is the textbook definition of depraved mind as we define it here in Florida. Voluntary intoxication is not
I thought you just defined things down in Florida, like with a alligator with a mullet and a Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's like a Texas, Florida man journal. And thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Wolfram, Dingus, no, you are not stealing my lunch. It's not happening. And those went to I'm Not Buying It, Vernie Q, Carrie Brooke, let's see, Obliviana, and Rosie N. So congratulations. Welcome to the Church of Mo. Dingus, it's not happening. No. Well, it's one of those... It's one of the chicken patties from Aldi's in the red bag. Those things are like gold, and you do not let your cat steal them.
That's funny. Yeah, it's that's wild that she did that. I had no idea.
Yeah, so all of this stuff, like I didn't know someone could get injured. I didn't know any of this could happen. I am working on putting up our the new cat tree that goes floor to ceiling with the new desk setup. You can have a piece, sir. That's all. This is why I'm a terrible, terrible furry mom, because I'm finally I'm like, okay, fine, just a bite. And then he's like, oh, you mean the patty? This is why I've actually been losing weight. It's not even anything good. My cat just won't let me eat.
I mean, I guess if it works.
Yeah, but I didn't think I'd have to fight an animal for food once Fry passed.
True. Very true.
Dingus is like...
And then you have Dingus.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a dog. What are you talking about?
I think he does think he's a werewolf. I doubt that he's a real actual cat at this point.
Yeah. Maine Coons are big cats.
Yes. And he's always acting like he's starving to death. But he gets more food than the other cats. And he finishes their food too.
Well.
Oh, Lord. Dingus. He's like, I'll just take this patty for you.
Not a defense. You cannot feel sorry for her because they had 2 1.5 liter bottles of wine and then some from the leftovers from the day before. And quite frankly, she's blackout drunk. She's blackout drunk. She doesn't remember making the videos. She turns her phone over right to the deputy the next day because she doesn't know what's on it. She doesn't remember doing it.
Well, I mean, when you call a spade, who among us hasn't taken incriminating videos while blackout drunk?
Another thing that we just haven't talked about much is her story. She can't be up in the shower hiding and taking a picture at 11:03 p.m., 9 minutes before the video. That portion of her story just doesn't add up.
Have you
what
heard
it shows
of the
is it's more like 20 minutes instead of 11 or 12 minutes that we know.
What?
Have you heard of the Force? She could definitely be doing that. I mean, you just went on this soliloquy about the Force, and it's like, hello?
Hello? Darth Vader's like, what? You knew? Did you test her midichlorian?
Just saying.
But it does. Sarah's story never made sense. And never did. Even from the jump when she had hours and hours to think about this. It still didn't make any sense.
Yeah. But what fun would there be if there were smart criminals? The dumb ones are the fun ones.
True.
Because we find out about them.
And they videotape themselves.
Exactly. And they turn themselves literally into a meme.
Pretty much.
Unintentionally. Boom.
Yeah. Well, we did get that. I mean, where would I go around saying, unintentionally in a loud, obnoxious voice and know that if it hadn't been for Sarah Boone?
True. We all owe her that.
Yeah. I mean, who'd have thought that we'd have a suitcase case go on for 5 flippin' years?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say who would have thought of it that you'd have an OnlyFans 1, 2, but I mean, let's be honest. That was just a disaster waiting to happen.
That was, yeah. I mean, when your dad is your manager for your OnlyFans account, we knew that wasn't going to end well.
Yeah. I mean, like, the daddy issues are strong with that one.
Yeah.
No, he's trapped in what turns out to be his coffin. Let's talk about her testimony at trial. And we'll talk about all the problems. A lot of her issues predated her relationship with Mr. Torres. So it's not attributable to the trauma from Mr. Torres.
And hope your
with all
hubby
the
and his
luggage
twin have
she
a great
brought into the
birthday.
relationship. And listen to the way she talks. It's not splitting the bills. It's helping without argument. It's not cleaning up and doing Sunday chores. It's cleaning up so we can relax. It's a reward. She talks about him like he's a child. I need to lead him to the next activity from one to the other. And then you saw the videos, and I'm not going to belabor it, that we showed in rebuttal, but the relationship and the power dynamics speak for itself. He was treated like the third dog. And it might very well have been a dog that bit and was violent, but he was treated like a dog. Why are you leaning against my door? Get out of here. Go downstairs. You're worthless. You're garbage. They showed the part of the video where he slaps the phone, but that's after 5 or 6 minutes of being berated and dehumanized in a way that nobody should be treated.
Yeah, I can't imagine where Sarah in her little pea brain thought that this was the great video evidence of him being a monster.
Yeah. But it's also like, I know we have talked about it during the last bits that we watched. It's like, if you're in fear of your life from somebody, right? You don't antagonize them.
No.
Like,
It makes
that's
no
not how
sense.
it works.
And she's just self-assured or dumb enough to think that anyone is just going to believe her.
Yeah.
And I still don't know why you would film those things, but she's like, no, I am the victim. No, Sarah kind of shows you being a really big bitch, but victim was not the first word I picked up out of that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
He just wanted to get in bed and lay down next to his fiance. Instead, get away from the side of my door, you useless dog. I thought it might be a good point in time to listen to the music. When does Mr. Torres get to decide what to do? I mean, she paints this picture that he goes off and does all these things on his own, goes and buys wine when he's not supposed to, does all these things when he's not supposed to, but when does he get to do what he wants? Suitcase downstairs for a week so they can donate it. What was in their lives that was preventing them from getting that suitcase to the Goodwill or whatever? Neither one of them worked. What's going on? Lucas is over there on Mondays and Tuesdays. The story about the suitcase having already been down there is quite suspect, and we will get into that more. But again, it's not we went on a trip together, we had a great time. It's, I quote unquote, I recently took him on a trip. Then it comes down to the moment of truth, which we've already gone over. And it's just quite frankly inconsistent because there's no explanation for the picture. Her explanation at trial when I brought it up to her was, I just don't remember. I don't remember this period in time from the
And that's where she shot herself in the foot again. Again, if you don't remember, if you are blackout drunk, then how can you even perceive that you are in great bodily harm to the
Mhm.
point where you know you're supposed to react?
Yeah. Yeah. It's there's a lot of holes in her story obviously, but there's a lot of things that she said even during the interrogation that are just they don't add up to make a logical thought
No.
process.
No, and that's the thing that really is interesting about Sarah. Once you peel back, is trying to kind of understand how she views the world, because she, honest to God, thought these videos painted her in a good light. I
Yeah.
don't know how. I mean, I don't know if she stared into the solar eclipse without sunglasses, because that could explain a lot.
Yeah.
But she, honest to God, thought that these were good evidence for her. She wanted everyone to see them. She told the cops, like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, look at all the videos. You're gonna see all the videos." And
Yeah.
we all saw the videos and we're like, Sarah,
Yeah.
these do not show what you think they show.
Yeah. I think some people at first were like, "Oh, like this looks bad on him." But then as you kept going and going and going through the videos, it was like, "Oh my God. Like this poor
Yeah.
dude." Like I'm not saying that he was a saint or anything like that. I understand that there was things that happened, but still it's like that poor man what
And
he had to go through.
it's actually so lucky for us that she took these videos in the vainglorious attempt to, prove herself right.
Yeah.
Because had George not had this, kind of proof of just how he acted when she was going all Twitter patey crazy,
Yeah.
I think it would have been a harder sell. But having watched him stay mostly calm on all of those videos, even, body cam videos where he's getting arrested, where he's getting woken up and basically put in, shackles because she said something. He doesn't fight. He just, puts his hand behind his back. I think in one he might have said, "What the hell is going on?" And that kind of thing. But if one good thing came out of this case, I think it is that people are and waking up to the different flavors of abuse that are perpetrated on each spouse. So, or each gender. So while it might be more physical, from a man to a woman, this is the type of abuse that, men are facing a lot of. And I think it really did, kind of really put a light on that, which was good, but also heartbreaking.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
From the picture at 11:03 to when I was supposed to be coming down the stairs. There's a major glitch in her matrix.
Oh, are we going to bring the
She
Matrix into
shakes the
this and
suitcase.
John
Please
Wick?
stop doing this to me. And then his hand gets out. Now she's the point in time where she gets angry and doesn't do what the law requires after basically choking him with his coffin. Beats him into submission with the bat and turns it back over. For the first time ever at trial, she says, "I'm going to fucking end you," is what he said. She never told that to even her doctors. We've heard the arguments why she didn't tell the truth to the police and all that. And there's a lot of truth into the argument that was made. There's a lot of truth. When the argument is made that she didn't understand self-defense, what that means, what it comes across as, she makes this story change as she learns about it. When we apply the jury instructions to her statement, all 6 of them apply against her. Won't belabor this since it was discussed earlier. But did the witness have an opportunity to see and know the things about which the witness testified? Even at trial, she admitted that she was intoxicated for the first time. She went back and forth with the police about whether or not she was intoxicated and her standard of drunkenness and whatnot. But she was so intoxicated that she still felt the effects of it at 1 PM the following day. The medical.
Well, she's not a quitter.
I was gonna say I've had nights like that.
I think I would have alcohol poisoning if I attempted to just finish off one of those mega pints by myself, which is essentially what she and George did, plus another bottle of wine.
Yeah. I mean, granted, one of those nights was like, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, we've all had those moments, but not generally where you've left someone in a suitcase to pass away.
No, I can confidently say I have never left nor put anybody in a suitcase.
More like, God, why don't we have Pop-Tarts? Why don't I ever have Pop-Tarts when I need them?
Yes.
Or why can't, IHOP just deliver? I just need, like a short stack of pancakes and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Medical examiner told you that alcohol dissipates in the average person. Everybody's different, tolerance, all sorts of things come into play. But on average, 0.015 grams per deciliter will dissipate every hour. So you can do the math. 0.015 times 14 puts her at 2.5 times the legal limit. For those reasons alone, you should not believe anything she told you. You should not believe anything she told the police. You should not believe anything she told the doctors. She was at 2.5 times the legal limit. She has a gap in her memory that's unexplained when I brought up the photograph at 11:03. You can't have it both ways. I don't remember 11:03 to 11:12, but I was upstairs in the shower hiding. Does the witness seem to have an accurate memory? Well, this ties into what we're talking about. But again, there's a glitch in the matrix, 11:03 to 11:12. Her memory is not accurate. By her own admission, I don't remember. She tells the police when they show her the video, I don't remember that happening. Was the witness honest and straightforward in answering the attorney's questions? I submit when we got off script, and by we, I mean both, with both attorneys, she wasn't as honest and straightforward as when it was a very directed and smooth examination. I came out of the gate with something that was off script. Tell me about Pamela Erickson. Tell me about Christine. Tell me about Crystal. Because she's the one that said cheating to her meant pornography. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she knew exactly who those people were, and that she.
Oh yeah, her search histories were weird. It was like Hillary Clinton, Pinterest board, and then sexy girls of the internet, triple X rated. It's just...
Wait, what?
So she and George, or she had the only functional phone that she knew about. So George would apparently talk to girls on Facebook and things like that. She basically didn't want to admit that he had cheated on her because it would have brought up that she cheated on him and was quite a prolific cheater, even with Brian Boone.
Yeah.
Because George was not her only paramour.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we knew that she definitely cheated on Brian because she was bringing the bar home after while Lucas was still at home too. Which is...
Yeah, those motherhood things.
Yeah. Don't forget Mother of the Year award. Yay.
Yeah, she's an excellent mother to her son.
Yeah.
When she remembers she has one.
Or because she's absent. One
Yeah.
of the two.
Yeah.
She believed that he was cheating on them with her. And apparently she is too with some guy named Ben. When I describe this as a violent, nonsensical relationship, that's exactly what it is. It's not to downplay the violence. She got stabbed. She had minor surgery. It got infected. Those injuries are real. But they just don't apply in this case. They just don't apply when you use that self-defense instruction when she's the aggressor, if it's to be believed.
Judge, object.
Approach.
Really don't. He's like, don't call my client a liar. I mean, she just misremembered what the truth was. Sarah's looking back at her testimony like, I never lied.
Yeah. She.
And her hair gets more ratted as she gets. It's business in the front and party in the back. It is a fee mullet, if you will.
I mean, it's very Florida appropriate.
It is.
Wait, is this the where the business in the front and the party in the back comes with the rear naked choke?
I mean, it would take someone with a really strong stomach, but if you've seen Matilda, Miss Trunchbull, I think she could do it. I have faith.
Oh, it does look kind of like she plays with it too much during the day. Today's probably really stressful for her, though.
Owens was told, yes, he can say that your client was a lying liarton who lied.
But.
Let me say it loud and clear. Battered spouse syndrome does not have any effect on this case. It has no relationship to this case because she is the aggressor. She zipped him shut in the suitcase. After he said, I couldn't breathe, she wouldn't let him out. Therefore, all of the instructions above that paragraph of however do not apply. They do not apply. Now, turning back to what I was saying, did the witness have some interest in how the case would be decided? Well, of course. 3 out of 4 panels that y'all came from indicated to the judge fear of punishment was more important than the fear of public speaking. It speaks for itself. She has an interest in the outcome of the case. Now let's talk about, does her testimony agree with the other evidence in the case? You do not have to accept this story. Let's pretend, as you should, because all 6 of these things, we haven't even gotten to the inconsistent statements. Let's pretend her testimony doesn't exist, and you just have to look at the circumstances. The testimony from the defendant.
Now, I will say that I had not even thought about this before.
George Torres's head is here. You can stand if you need. You've been sitting a long time too. His head is here. His butt is kind of down here. His feet are here. And his hands and his knees are up here. He's in the fetal position, if we remember right. The hematoma on his head is on the left side. The bruises, the deep bruises on his back are on his left side. You hear that? That's solid. You don't have to accept that she put those marks on him when he was in there. The evidence doesn't support it. You can conclude she used this bat when he was outside the suitcase. You don't have to believe her when she said they were playing hide and seek.
Damn.
You don't have to believe her because she doesn't know the rules. She came downstairs, saw what she had done, and had all the opportunity in the world to clean up whatever mess may have been at the bottom of the stairs. But ladies and gentlemen, physics doesn't lie.
Youngest Musfarrow maybe have a lawyer career ahead of him, Mo.
Yes. He's like, this is dumb, and I'll explain-rate it. But Sarah,
But he's
you
not
dumb.
wrong.
You dumb Muppet. When you were showing exactly how George was in the suitcase, did nothing go off like little alarm bells in your brain? Like, maybe I shouldn't do this? But
Yeah.
no. Even Owens was like, no, I want to be here when she's zipping this up to protect my client's modesty because she's wearing a skirt. I was like, ain't nobody looking there. I mean, no one melted like they saw the Ark of the Covenant, so I think we're good.
Even though that was the expected outcome.
That really was. I don't believe he was in the suitcase when she made those, and I think that the knock to the head made him disorientated and docile enough to get for her to position him in the suitcase when he wasn't going to be able to fight.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think she went upstairs. I think she wanted to punish him. I think he was getting ready to leave her. I think he was done, and she found out that his mom had gotten him a cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, because it's this demonstration of how he ended up with those marks. Like watching him do it, it's, I don't know, it makes me look at it in a completely different light. Like the whole
Well,
situation.
not to mention, I just got texted by 2 recruiters for a let's see, what is it? Not a virtual position in a tech management systems company. Now, there are so many things wrong with this. Like, I don't have a LinkedIn profile, so I don't know how you're getting my number, but also I couldn't I can barely work my computer. Sure, let's go with make me a tech analyst.
Yeah,
You
why
can work
not?
from home and help people with their tech issues. I can work from home and be a tech issue.
I say this job sounds like the perfect thing for the Mo that I know.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and take over your computer with the force. Have you tried unplugging it? Have you tried calling anyone other than me?
Have you tried calling tech support? Ma'am, you are tech support. Have you tried calling real tech support?
Have you tried asking your local junior high school child?
Which, that actually makes me think about something. So, like, there used to be, like, a lot of younger people who were super into computers and knew how to fix them and stuff. And, like, that seems like it's kind of a dying thing. That, like, people
Yeah.
don't know how to do these things, like how to fix their computers and stuff anymore, which is kind of weird to me. Um,
Well, I never knew, so I'm not
well,
not regressing
you're the exception to this, Mo.
pretty much. Yeah, no, youngest most feral did have I realized he might have lawyerly tendencies. I'm still hoping for that math to kick in and he'll be an engineer because he had a deep and in-depth like debate with me as to whether the Martian was real.
Oh,
With Matt Damon because he's like NASA sent some guy to Mars and like everything blowed up. NASA is dumb. They didn't even know he was alive. And I said, well, it was a movie. He said, no, I saw the NASA on there. Are you saying the NASA is wrong? I was like, no, they were playing NASA people. He's like, enough of your trickery, woman. I've seen Mars. I saw the man go out into Mars. How dare you argue with me?
that sounds like a lawyer to me.
Yeah, he's like, was NASA on there? Did they have everyone in NASA there? Did we see it happen? You
Yeah,
saw it with your own eyes.
either a lawyer or he can take over Alex Jones' show. One or the
Probably.
other.
There's not going to be an in between. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
She can't expect you to believe her testimony about the loud boom being the day before compared to her two neighbors who weren't drinking, who have no interest in the outcome of the case, who suffer from none of the infirmities of her testimony. She suffers from all 6 infirmities. When her neighbors say there was a loud boom that night, there was a loud boom that night. Did it shake the wall they shared in common? It shook the wall that they shared in common. Did she have any injuries consistent with being dragged up and down the stairs the night before? No. You saw the pictures the CSI took. You don't have to accept her story about hide and seek.
But it's the fun one that makes
Something
no sense.
made that loud boom. It takes energy to make a loud boom. Energy that could very well be in the form of somebody going down some of the stairs, all the stairs, in the suitcase, out of the suitcase. But that's what the evidence supports, is there was a loud boom that shook the walls and interrupted a FaceTime conversation that was so loud that the girlfriend on the other end heard it. Something loud happened. And then there was silence, according to the witnesses. And they can argue that Juan Torres' testimony was great for them. It's great for the state. She was screaming at him already at 7:30 p.m. She was already on her bully pulpit. And we know she doesn't need to put him into the coffin to get on her bully pulpit. There's video after video of her on her bully pulpit telling him how it's going to be, how you're going to live your life. Go take a walk. Do this. Do that. You don't have to accept anything.
Sarah's like, damn it, how dare you use my words against me? That's my bully pulpit.
I mean, that's a very interesting phrase.
Well, so
haven't heard
she
that
has
in a
been
long
saying
time.
run to the pulpit. She's trying to talk about, basically in a bunch of her letters, she's like a rush to the pulpit. Now that's a lectern, and pulpits are only in churches, from my gathering of the language we all agreed on, Sarah. But bully pulpit, yeah, she definitely had one. That phone was her means of, recording her stupid dissertations of dumbassness that she thought George should use to become a better person.
Yeah.
She is so insufferable.
Yeah.
I just imagine her getting into a fight and then writing the DOC, like, I cannot believe that you would not let me speak to the manager when obviously I am better than the other inmates here.
Yeah, I'm not like the rest of these people. And everybody else is eyeballing her. What do you mean, these people?
Well, she said hair braiders.
Oh.
Yeah. Not to mention she encouraged George's family to remain Hispanic, which I didn't know was an optional thing.
Well,
but apparently Sarah is under the impression one can choose.
That's a bold move, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, let's add, to your charming, personality of cuntitude, let's add racist to it. She's gonna be so welcomed in Gen Pop. She's not gonna make it a year, you guys. I feel bad because I'm gonna have to light a candle and damn it.
Yeah, you'll have to bust out the eyebrows one more time.
Yeah. I'll have to play taps in the backyard as I slowly lower the now, hate-soaked, Sarah Boone wig into the backyard.
Anything she said. It's inconsistent that he received the hematoma to his head.
She said hair
his bloody
braiders.
mouth. How is his mouth getting bloody
however you
inside the
choose to
suitcase?
take that.
That's protected from her and her bat. But that suitcase, 100-pound drunk woman is not beating through the wood of that suitcase or whatever it is that's making that noise when it's thumped. Ladies and gentlemen, those injuries happened outside of the suitcase. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody or something went down those stairs.
Feel free to
She
spread
has
it
no
far
injuries
and
consistent
wide.
with going down the stairs. He does. He has blunt force trauma all over him. You don't have to buy her story, and you shouldn't. The inconsistencies, I'm not going to belabor it. Your dinner is waiting him back.
And that's when I fell in love with Mr. J.
Let's just briefly talk about the experts, and we'll move on to the end. Dr. Brandon was absolutely fantastic. He explained everything that you all needed to know about battered spouse syndrome. And this isn't about whether one of them or both of them had battered spouse, because at the end of the day, she's the initial aggressor, and she had the duty to do the things that the law requires. But it does call into question the credibility of the past power dynamics.
I am so sorry for your loss. I'm not buying it.
Those videos speak for themselves.
That's a beautiful
The
gesture. I think
officer in the last video
really
asked
good.
him, dude, you're a guy. Why don't you do something about this woman, your wifey, who you don't want to rat on for beating you? He's like, man, I'm not a beefcake. I'm not going to rat her out. There's countless examples, if you apply Dr. Brandon's testimony to Juan Torres, that really shows you the power dynamics of the relationship. He was her violent pet. Dr. Harper, I don't find much quarrel with what she says about battered spouse syndrome, and nobody should. I mean, she's the expert. But she's not Miss Boone's treating physician. She's not her treating psychologist. The way it was described in argument, and I believe from Dr. Brandon's testimony, was she's supposed to be a forensic detective. Get to the bottom of this. She's going to come in here at trial and tell you her opinion you should rely upon. With 9 visits, she never asked the defendant what it is the victim said that put you in imminent fear of death or great bodily harm. That's the crux of the matter, Doc. You're never going to ask her what it is he said or did for this grand jury instruction about threat of force or use of force. It's remarkable. And, you know, she didn't review everything that.
You know, he practiced his shocked face because it was a little forced. But he was like, I need to put some pizzazzle in my end.
You know, he could have just stuck with the whole like Disney kind of kids theme and went with like the "What's up, Doc?" I mean, come on, it was low hanging fruit.
You know, he had done his razzle dazzle with the force. He was like, look, I know you guys have dinner back there. We're banking on an hour. You know, I don't want to leave you too much more time. I just don't want to jinx it because I'm like, oh my God, we might actually finish a video.
I actually just looked at the clock and I was like, oh my God, Mo, we may do it.
My power is going to go out now. God, for your, you know, arrogance and your ability to finish things.
Thing that was presented to you. At the end of the day, it's your opinion that matters about this relationship. And again, we agree with Dr. Werner. It doesn't matter. She had the duty to retreat. She had the duty to take the chokehold off. And if it was too dangerous for her to directly take the chokehold off, she had the duty to do something else, everything in her power to stop him from dying because she started it. She set it in motion. She used the force grip on him from a distance, the couch and from bed. It was her obligation to stop. She didn't.
She went full shabusiness. Never go full
But Dr.
shabusiness
Werner,
when choking someone.
She was called by the state of Florida.
Well, hold on.
After having evaluated.
To be fair, she didn't go full shabusiness, if you know what I mean.
Well, she didn't ride him like a donkey, which I still have yet to figure out how one does, nor do I want to look up. But,
yeah, she didn't go full shabusiness. We'll give Sarah a little credit, maybe.
Okay, just she went more shabusiness than one should ever do.
There you go. I'll accept that.
We'll allow it.
Yeah.
10% of a business job.
Waited and listened to the defendant give a similar story and concluded battered spouse doesn't apply. So she was never asked to delve any deeper into it. Given the information that she did have, the limited information, she agrees, yes, Ms. Boone has battered spouse syndrome, but it doesn't apply to the case because she was the aggressor and she did not fulfill her obligations. And really just your gut common sense. Go back to jury selection. In jury selection, there was examples about bullies day after day doing something to somebody. And somebody raised their hand and said, don't they have to do something that day? Don't they have to do something that day? And he didn't.
Welcome.
After he was put in fear of death and told her he can't breathe, the imminent threat of great bodily harm and death she is describing to you is him fighting for his life to escape. She did not fulfill her obligations. There's details that matter. And again, not to belabor it. I mean, the evidence in the body-worn camera and the 911 calls, it's not offered to prove the truth of the matter as who stated what. Who knows what happened between these two? You see them with the police. Can't believe anything they're saying. It's not offered to prove that she's a bad person. It's not offered to prove that Mr. Torres is a bad person. It's simply offered to call in question the reliability and credibility of what she said about the past. That's all that it's there for. But there are some nuggets and some Easter eggs. There was an argument made during closings that Mr. Torres knows not to do anything when being videotaped. Bizarrely, shortly thereafter, they showed a very edited clip of him attacking her and slapping the phone out of her hand. He knows he was being videotaped, and there was another video like it too. So to make the argument that he doesn't do anything, he's a good boy when he's being videotaped, it's belied by their own argument. They showed one of the videos. Learned helplessness. She seemed to control everything. I mean, his birth certificate, it gets torn up when he doesn't comply with her wishes. And you'll see the rest of the text messages if you choose to delve into them. But I would suggest you don't have to, given the jury instruction about aggressor. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a long 2 weeks, and you are making a very, very important decision for Ms. Boone, and a very, very important decision for Mr. Torres and the state of Florida and his family. He's dead. She killed him. She's admitting she killed him to have this affirmative defense of I was justified. It was not justified under our law. She does not get to decide that she has a license to kill because of her past grievances. The law requires her to stop using the force that she started applying to him. And she didn't. She didn't withdraw. She didn't tell him he was withdrawing. She didn't use every means available to try and stop this from happening. She didn't. And you know what was in her heart. She tells you it's hatred, ill will, spite, and venom. This is not a self-defense case under the law. Go back, follow the law. You cannot feel sorry for her. You cannot feel sorry for him. You cannot feel angry at her. You cannot feel angry at him. It's maddening to see their relationship. It is maddening. Nobody would want this life for yourselves or your children. It is violent nonsense, but it does not affect what she did and what her duties were under the law that night. She wanted to punish him. She did, and then she left him.
And just like that, 2024 drops another golden goose into our laps. Lori Vallow Daybell wants to represent herself.
Oh no.
Well.
Oh, really?
Yes, for the case in which her brother, who is now also dead, killed her husband, one of her good husbands, Charles, like the good one.
I'm so confused by that whole thing because there's just way too many people involved.
I am so confused about that whole thing because, okay, in my objective opinion, Charles is attractive and a business owner and seemed to like worship the quicksand she walked on. Chad Daybell looks like a slightly chubby Lego guy. Like, and loin fire? No.
Oh dear.
Just make it make sense. Like he tells you you were married in a past life while you're both married. Make it make sense, Lori. Because I watched the Lifetime movie, and that was, if you are looking for schlock and like the worst representation of, well, Lifetime movies, then the Lori Vallow Daybell movie is just chef's kiss and how absolutely schlocky it is.
I've tried to listen to stuff about that case before, and there's just so many people involved and so many ex unalived husbands that
Yes.
it's
And
like I can't keep track.
I mean, how do you get people, like a group of people, to believe that you are God's chosen one to lead, all the people away from the rapture into Idaho?
I
I
mean,
don't.
Idaho, really?
Well, I mean, I guess no one wants to go to Canton anymore.
I mean, you could at least went to like Montana,
Yeah. Yeah.
but Idaho, really?
Yeah.
I
So be on the lookout for that. I cannot wait to see if she's actually going to go pro se.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if
Well,
she does.
it'll be interesting because she was considered not competent to stand trial for almost, I want to say, a year to 6 months,
Yeah.
because so holy fazolies, if this goes, I can almost not imagine what is going to go on in that case.
Yeah. And wrong one. That's actually Utah. That is south of Idaho, where the LDS Mecca is. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's there's so many crazy cases coming up. Like the Clinty thing will be interesting, um, for so many reasons. The
Yes.
Daybell thing, and now, um, after this last week, for the last couple weeks, I had started at the very beginning, uh, with the YSL thing, and then like nothing was happening because they weren't actually holding court. They were just arguing all the time. I just bailed.
Yeah.
And then like a couple weeks ago, I got like all in to it. And I can tell you way more than I should know about all the stuff that's going on in that. And with all the pleas and stuff that happened, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the last two guys. But
Yeah, I am.
there's a lot happening.
Yeah, and then I've got
Delphi.
so on a serious note, I should be starting to do some streams with people about the Delphi case. I know that Andrea Burkhart is down there. Let's see, the defense diaries, lawyer Lee, uh, Ursula showed up far away from the ocean. So
I saw that.
that now I have to fumigate all of Indiana. I mean, damn. Talk about making
Yeah.
my job easier.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh God. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are happening in the true crime land.
Yes. And, we will probably have those pop-up cases of what the actual hell. So we will be going back to Daryl Brooks next weekend. We needed a palate cleanser, and Sarah Boone is what the world offered.
Yes,
But
and
thank you guys for joining in and, hanging out. We actually got through an entire video in one sitting. I'm ending with that. I'm ending on a high note.
Yeah.
And then let me see if Ian is still doing his stream so I can send you guys over
yeah.
there, because I know he was I think he's still going. I'm so
Yeah,
I
he
can
is.
barely remember what things are going on.
He definitely, I know he's still going because I think he started early today. Hold on a sec. I can get you the link if you don't have it.
Awesome, because
There
I
you go.
don't.
I dropped it in the chat.
Oh,
in the back.
awesome. Well, it looks like that one might be. I think he's doing 2-hour chunks.
Yes, I think he's doing the main one on, I think, Extra Life, I think is where he's doing the main full stream at, but that's the one that's up for his YouTube at the moment.
Okay.
And he's turned off all monetization because he wants the money to go straight to Extra Life, which, if you guys don't know what about Extra Life is, basically Ian is raising money for a children's charity. They're a great organization. Many moons ago, I did some stuff with them. So, but they're a great organization and it helps kids. So, no better cause than that.
Yes. And he's going for 24 hours. I would be a wreck after about 3.5. So,
yeah. But he's
big
Canadian.
Well, yeah, and an elf. And they, they experience time differently.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. For my American friends, let's all hope and pray that all shenanigans will be done by Tuesday and we can all go back to being not assaulted by political ads on all of YouTube.
Yes. Agree.
Regardless of whichever way you wish to vote, don't really care, just would like to not see political ads anymore.
Preach.
Have a lovely afternoon. Go over to Runkle, even supporting his stream, liking it. If you can't give money per se, that does help, and that will, help him give more. So have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay warm, stay safe. And oh my God, we finished a video in time. Like, I'm just so proud of me. I'm going to go drink a mega pint. And I'm just kidding. Going to go lay down in front of the fire is what I'm going to go do.
That's funny.
Bye, you guys.
See ya.